Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hinamori and welcome back to Minecraft. It's raining right now and that's obviously a big no-no, especially on YouTube. Oh boy, what am I doing? Time to stop this recording. And just like that, we're out of the rain and it's now sunny out because while I slept, and rain disappears when you sleep. Magic, I know, right? So today I'm actually gonna do a little different video today. I'm going to do a story video, an actual story this time, not one that I just quickly wrote up in like 3.5 seconds or whatever, an actual story. And it's going to be about me and how I came to the realization that I have aphantasia. And it took 22 years for me to figure this out, guys. 22 years. If that doesn't give you an indication of my age, then whatever. Let's build a path and get into some story bits, shall we? The story starts, I guess, when I was a kid, obviously. So when I was a kid, things that made me start questioning why can't I see things like other people can was in my like 4th or 3rd grade math class. Well, I guess it was more like math time because there wasn't really separate classes when I was in elementary school. It's all just one class. But yeah, it has to do with that. And it's not fun for me. Math isn't. Because I can't visualize the numbers in my head. So it makes doing math extremely difficult. Or I go about it in such a convoluted way that the teacher just views it as you didn't do your work. So it like really hurts me in that kind of a sense. Because it's like, oh, thanks, you know, I really tried, but you just shoved all that effort down the drain, even though I got the right answer. And they're like, well, you didn't do it the way we wanted you to do it. And I was like, what does that have to do with my ability to do the math? You know? And so they always shoved me away for being quote unquote different like that. And I still kind of hate them for that. Because that made me not ever want to do math ever again. Even though I enjoy science and things like that, because it's just something that I like thoroughly enjoy. And when you stunt a kid's imagination or whatever, you kind of destroy that ingenuity of learning when you tell them, oh, you didn't do it my way, kind of thing. And I think that's where a lot of teachers need to realize that the world doesn't revolve around them in the sense of education. Let's place one more. Because education should be something that makes you want to learn. And that honestly made me want to become a teacher. But over these last few years, becoming a teacher is probably not the greatest idea right now, especially with how much flack they get for quote unquote things that I will not mention in this video because I do not want my channel to be political. But besides the point, I personally thought that like maybe I was just special in the case of like need special help kind of thing, not like you're dumb, you're, you know, that kind of a thing. I don't know how to describe that without being really rude, so I'm gonna try to avoid describing it. But I essentially thought I was essentially not capable of doing the work, or I wasn't capable of showing properly how to do my work, even though I was getting the same answers as like all the other kids. And my friend, let's just call him Bob, my friend Bob at the time, he was like, why do they never let you turn in those test scores or those scores that you get on your papers? And I was like, I don't know. I get the answers right, but they tell me I'm doing my work wrong. And so my friend, he's like a year older than me at this point in time. He was like, you know, I'm pretty sure that you can still do your work like that. And so I went home with my friend's advice in my head, and I talked to my parents about the situation. I was like, hey, my teacher at school's not letting me turn in this work that I've clearly shown that I'm capable of doing. And my mom at the time, she despised my teacher for telling me that I couldn't turn in my work because it was not accurate enough, or it wasn't the way she wanted it, like my teacher. And so when I was talking to my mom about the whole situation, she contacted the principal of my school and essentially said, hey, why don't we just put your kid into a different class? And so I went to a different class because my mom didn't want to deal with the ramifications of telling a teacher off. I know, what a great time, right? Oh boy. My mom's not the sharpest cookie in the shed, tool, whatever. But with that, it also made my mom realize that I was thinking the same thing she was thinking, that, oh no, is my kid special? That's what was going through her head. I know the way I just said it was not a very nice way to say it, but that's what we were all thinking. Just gonna point that out. And my mom at the time was not too fond of calling me special like that. So she said, just put him in this class and then we'll be on our way. And then I was in this class for about a year and a half, and they're like, your kid's not special. Your kid's just really intelligent, or something along the lines of that. I was like, I'm not intelligent. I'm kind of stupid. And with that knowledge, though, my mom went back to the teacher and said, hey, look, my kid got put into a different class, has proven that they're not what you say they are, and they're going to be coming back to your class, and you're going to allow them to do their work their way. So, like, remind you, this was like 4th grade. So 4th grade is not a fun time for, I guess, most young kids at the time. Let's see, where was I? Oh god, I got sidetracked. Oh no, ADHD brain. Fish. You thought I was gonna say the F word. I guess this is kind of just a story about me. It's not really about how I discovered Aphantasia, but I had to start somewhere in the past to help you realize, like, comes from all walks of life kind of thing, and not just one or two. And those walks of life for me has been rather subtle on the front end of things. Okay, so after I go into this class and I get back into it, my mom said, don't let anyone tell you you're different, kind of thing. You know, the typical speech moms give. I was like, okay, you know, because I wasn't too sure what was going on. I was just a kid. I'm just a kid. Oh wait, sorry. Broke out into song there, but during this time frame, while being a kid and whatnot, I wanted to do an art class, and so I talked to my mom, and she was like, oh yeah, we can get you into art. And I was like, yeah, cool, art, you know, and got really excited. And so started doing an art class, and as I was in the art class, my art teacher was like, okay, we're just gonna draw like a self-portrait of ourselves. Now, when I say I'm in an art class at this point in time, it's like 5th grade, 6th grade. Just for context here. And with that, I realized like, hey, wait a minute. What do you mean I can picture stuff in my head? And the teacher at the time, he was a cool teacher, not gonna lie. He was teaching us how to essentially draw ourselves, and by using a mirror and like just expressing ourselves through that. And excuse me there. And as we were doing that, everybody was like, why do that when we could just like use our imaginations to see what we look like? And the teacher thought that was a good idea, so instead of using mirrors, we decided to use our imaginations to draw what we thought we looked like. And you know, obviously some people made themselves look like princes and princesses and badass superheroes and stuff like that, but me, I was over there just like, I know exactly what I look like. Why would I use my imagination to draw myself looking what I think I look like when I know what I look like because I've seen myself in the mirror? So I just drew myself, and my teacher was like, why did you draw yourself? And I was like, well, why would I draw something I'm not? And the teacher was like, but you were supposed to use your imagination. And I was like, I don't know what you mean by that. And he's like, can you see pictures in your head? And essentially I was like, no. And he's like, oh, well, didn't tell me what it was. And he's like, oh, then we'll just draw yourself then. So that's what I did. He essentially didn't tell me what it was or what anything was. So I was like, wait, so am I the only one that can't see pictures in my head? Like, is this just a me thing? And so years go by, I'm in another art class in high school in my senior year, and there's this teacher there. She wanted me to draw a very specific thing, and I told her I can't do that. She's like, well, why? And I told her, at the time, I was like, I can't see things in my head. And she's like, oh, well, don't worry about that. We're just gonna draw whatever then. And so she told me to do something abstract. So, at the time, really obsessed with a video game on the PlayStation 3 called Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet. Great game. 10 out of 10 game. Awesome. I love that game. Don't ever doubt the delightful little sack boy of joyous wonders and joy. He's amazing. And we played that game a lot, and so I decided to make my art piece based off of that. And so I drew a bunch of the weird funky planets that they have, and like I drew the sack boy and whatnot, and I just went at it with vibrant colors, and I mean like really pop out colors instead of like the dull colors everyone else was using. And I made it like abstract, so the shapes were awkwardly shaped. The planets had weird tendrils coming out of them or something. And when my art teacher came over to see what I was working on, because, you know, she told me to do something abstract, she's like, whoa, what is this? And I was like, it's inspired off of a video game. And she's like, oh, what video game? I was like, Little Big Planet. And she's like, oh, that's cool. What's it about? And I was like, it's about using your creativity. And she was like, ooh, you sparked my interest, kind of thing. And so I start telling her about Little Big Planet and why I thought it was really cool and amazing and stuff like that. And she kept pushing for more questions that my little brain couldn't really handle at the moment. Oh, I forgot Podzol. Crap. Well, crap. Oh well. We'll come back with the Podzol. Don't worry about it. It goes on the outer edge anyways. But So I tell her that I like this game a lot, we play it a lot, and that I essentially wanted my art piece to look like the planets and stuff. So as I'm showing her the art piece, you know, she was just completely baffled at how I was doing it, and she's like, do you not like try to imagine how anything looks before you make it? And I was like, I can't. And then that's when my art teacher realized, oh, you physically can't see anything up there. And I was like, yeah, I can't. And she's like, well, I don't know what the hell that's called. And so a couple years go by and I'm just like worn out from trying to figure out what I have. And I couldn't find anything at the time when I was a kid because, well, the internet was still kind of new. So, yay, internet. I love you to death, but you teach me nothing. Well, at least not anymore. You teach me a lot of things now. It's all about teaching. But, so a couple years go by and I meet up with my friend at this place at an Airbnb for his birthday, and you know, we were all gonna get wasted, play video games, and just have a good time. And during the time there, he was talking about how he had something called Aphantasia. And now this is the point where I say, I am 22 years old at this point in time. This was like 8 years ago. And sorry, I'm not good at math. Remember this. So 8 years ago is when I found this out. And during the time there, he talked about how he has aphantasia. I was like, what's that? And he's like, it's where you can't see your mind's brain eye thing or whatever he said. And I was like, you mean like you can't picture stuff? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I got that. Is that what it's called? You know, like I'm freaking out because I just discovered what it was called. You know, I'm like spazzing all over the place. And he's like, wait, you mean you can't see pictures either? And I was like, no, I've never been able to. And so we start having this wild conversation about things that we try to picture but can't. And going off on a tangent and how it's like, okay, how am I supposed to picture something that I visually cannot see in my brain? You know? And all of our other friends were like, wait, you guys physically can't see anything up there? And I was like, no, it's like a black canvas and that's it. And they're like, wait, you mean this whole time when you came up with ideas, even back in your art project in high school, you couldn't see that in your head? And I was like, no. And he's like, but your picture went to the competition and like won. And I was like, well, I don't know what to say. And like, they're like, well, I guess maybe, you know, not all great artists can visualize things. And that's what made me feel more like, oh, maybe that's what I needed in life. It was a little jump start in my motivation of saying, just because I don't have the ability to see something doesn't mean that I can't do something about it. That's why I started this whole YouTube channel in the first place, because I was like, no, I want people to realize like you can be fun, entertaining, creative by being yourself without having to kind of worry. I'm putting pods all in this one if you don't know what I'm doing. So I wanted, oh, I didn't want to put that there. I wanted to create a channel where people can relate to not just me, but other people like me. and just share their ideas, you know, like it's not meant to be just for me. It's supposed to be a community. So like if you have stories or whatever and you want to like leave a comment about it, do it. I'll read them. I'll like them. I so far I've read every single comment that has been posted on my videos, including the one and only negative comment that I've received. And you know, I enjoy feedback, obviously, because that's how you improve. You get feedback from others to understand, okay, this is where I went wrong, this is where I should improve. You know, it's something that you should always strive for when learning about stuff, at least in my opinion, because once you learn it all, everything comes flying to you like no tomorrow, and you're willing to just explore your possibilities. And that's what I decided to do with the whole Aphantasia thing. And it's like, what can I do to explore my possibilities to make people see that just because, you know, you can't see in your head, that you're able to be that creative conscious that people wanted. It's not something that it's just all willy-nilly, here it is kind of thing. Like, I still have to strive and work for it, obviously, but that comes with time. Like, so does everything else. Everything comes with time, and time is a valuable asset in life, in the choices you make, in the people you meet. Everything comes down to time and your effort that you put into it. And I think personally that if you don't put any effort in, you're not gonna get the time that you deserve or want or need. So even if it's just a little effort every now and then, you're still contributing to whatever that need is that you want to accomplish or push through. Say like exercising, for example, doing just small exercises every day, whether it's just going on a walk or cutting back on a food product that you ate or something like that. You'll be able to fully like get into a habit of it. Like, it took me a long time. Oh man, pillagers. It took me a long time to get into the mindset of doing YouTube videos on a weekly basis. And I chose to do it on a weekly basis because doing it on a... Oh man, look at them. They're so stupid and ugly. Oh, what is it? This, no, it's this one. Pow, pow. Hey, yo, screw off. Hey, go. There we go. All right, back to what I was saying. But it literally helps you become, I guess, a better person overall if you just take things slowly. Like, say you're not used to something that's happening in the world right now. Say that something that's happening to the world right now is really terrible and you just really don't know what to do with your life. Oh man, that looks pretty good from up here. Look at that. See it from here. But that story alone is only gonna work when people see it, obviously. Or people hear about it, or you tell the story yourself and make people feel like they can do anything if they just put a little effort into it. Because eventually you'll be able to get better at whatever you're doing a little bit at a time. Like, I try to learn a little bit of video game coding every now and then. Am I making a fantastic video game? No, I'm not. Am I playing a video game and utilizing the knowledge of making a video game inside of a video game? Sure. As far as I know, I am. And, you know, I guess the moral of the story is don't give up. Don't push yourself down just because you're different. Let other people see that you're capable of doing everything they're capable of. I had to break that. Put in there. Because I think it's about time that we, as people, start looking up to the creators. It'll be a fun time. I think that's gonna do it for today's episode, though, guys. I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed the story. It's gonna be kind of a long one. I might cut out some parts of the story that didn't really need to be in it. So if you see a cut in the story, it was probably useless garbage that did not need to be said. But if you did enjoy the video, please like or subby. Subby is always fun. You're free. And don't worry, I do have cookies, I promise. They're just not on me. They're up there on the mountain that I call my base, but not really. I spend more time down here than up there. But yeah, if you guys thoroughly enjoyed, please do leave a like, comment, do whatever. Leave a comment about your story. How you figured out how you have aphantasia. What made you realize it was aphantasia, so on and so forth. Until I see you again, goodbye! Thank you for reaching the end of the video. My name is Hinamori, and I appreciate you all for watching my wonderful video. I'm not the greatest at editing, but I still appreciate all the love and support I get for these videos that I try to make. So thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!